Absolutely awesome cars. You got a Peugeot 505. Now that's a cool car. And of course, a convertible M3. What car show would be a car show without a convertible M3? But the Peugeot is really rare. I love the accordion style mirrors on it. I mean, that's just a super cool car. And wagons are very rare here in America. They don't sell too well for some reason, but they're some of the coolest cars that you could ever have. And this one's turbocharged. I mean, intercooler right there on the side to kind of like let you know that this car's got some performance to it. But Peugeots are very rare. Like this hub nut, really cool. I mean, this is a really, really neat car. I absolutely adore it. I love it. You know, when you have some of the French cars out here, you have some Italian cars out here, you have some of your JDM, you have this BMW, you know, i8 Roadster. There's a 911 GT3 right here. This is something that Germ's DNA would be very happy to see. And I mean, the GT3, obviously race car for the road, and whether it's the newer ones that have just been introduced or this one, I mean, it's just engineering tour de force on wheels. I mean, no matter what, these cars had the best of everything for their period, for their time, and the Guards red paint looks absolutely stunning on this car. I mean, I love this car so much, especially the egg yolk headlamps, which a lot of people really didn't like at first, but now it's become sort of a cult favorite, you know, amongst Porsche enthusiasts, because a lot of people like the traditional just round headlamps, but these have so much character, and now they're being appreciated more and more often. And instead of people actually blocking those out and making it look like a normal Porsche, this has actually become a character, you know, mark on this car that makes it unique to other Porsches. So I think that this is what makes this 911 probably one of the best ones out here. Plus, not to mention that the rear end is probably the nicest one on a 911 ever. I mean, obviously some enthusiasts prefer the full light bar treatment from the older whale tail, you know, shark fin style 911s, but I mean, I like the breakup. I love the rear exhaust. Everything's nicely integrated on this car, from the wing to the way the arrow goes in and pops right out for the air. Looks like there's absolutely zero turbulence when it comes down to airflow. And obviously this center stack, GT3 classic white for the dials. I mean, beautifully done, perforated leather, all the switch gear right where it needs to be. Everything is very ergonomic, considering that it's still somewhat of a, you know, race car with a little bit of a luxury spin on it. At the end of the day, this is one of my favorites. And when this car sings up to almost 8,000 RPM, depending on what treatments it's got, you know, what can I say? One of the best cars out here. But we're going to take a look at some of the more modern stuff and a couple of the things that are out here that are on this side, because we've got a Corvette Z06, a Tennessee version, I think, or it looks like, no, it's a Lingenfelter. Wow, this is the first time I've ever seen a Lingenfelter Z06, 427, deep black, and it definitely makes its presence known as a Lingenfelter, as Lingenfelter is being put all over the car. OZ wheels. I mean, this body style is really stunning. I have one myself, you know, my C6 Jasmine. And then over here we have a GR Supra. Now, they've actually put the traditional rear wing on it, and that looks cool to some degree, but this blue color is absolutely gorgeous, and I really like this particular model, you know, as far as the new touch on a old classic, the Supra. I mean, the thing is that it is still kind of a BMW wearing a Supra's wolf's clothing, but regardless, you know, the BMW engine is put through Toyota's, you know, stringent program of, you know, beating the hell out of it to make sure it's reliable. So these cars will be around for a long time, and they're going to be a cult classic just like the original Supra. And then right here you have a 240SX. Looks like it's done for drifting. I mean, obviously the camber angles aren't put in just yet, but usually that's what people do with them, especially when you have a steering wheel that detaches and you have core boost seats. And over here, guys, we have this beautiful Audi S3, gorgeous white on it. I mean, the car looks absolutely amazing. New Volare grille, and one of my favorites, the Lotus Elise. Now, I love the magnesium wheels, the gorgeous red color on it, the peanut butter interior, or tan interior for those who want to get more technical. But I just love the fact that it's so sparse, it's so Spartan. You only get what you really need, and these cars come turbo or supercharged, and it just looks like a baby exotic car. I mean, just look at the actual way the body flows in, and I mean, it's almost like half the car is missing, but believe it or not, air flows very nicely into this car, and it makes for the suspension and the X-bone frame to pretty much put this car together in a handling crescendo of I can go around any corner I want as fast as I want. So I think that's what's really nice about this particular car right here. I've always loved these ever since my friend Mike had one. And then this one right here, this Nardo gray BMW, this metallic gray BMW, the old classic E30 convertible is super nice. Then you got the baby 318 Ti or I, depending on the trim. I don't know if they made a Ti in this model, but basically it is a 318. It is debadged, but it kind of matches that other one, that classic BMW that we looked at earlier. So like I said, this one we've seen here before. This one is an awesome car. But yeah, guys, no, these cars are incredible. I mean, Fuel Fed always has some of the nicest cars ever. And there's my friends.
Hey,
there's my friends.
How you doing?
I actually got the full European spec front end on the car.
Cool.
Yeah, so it went from the USDM stuff all the way to you know, the European spec, and it's got full 5.9 front end. You know,
okay, I'll see you later. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the full European spec front end. It's got the fog light covers. Waited for 2 months from Europe to get those, and I got it here today. So you know, I'm just happy to bring it out.
Well, that's cool. Next time I come, we gotta leave. So
yeah,
next
no
time
problem.
I come, I'll come by.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Take
We'll
it easy,
see
guys. But those young gentlemen I had breakfast with, they were great. This right here, this Triumph, is so cool. One, I love the color. And as you can see, the way the grille, the headlights, the bumper, and it has this power bulge right here. I mean, the blue interior is really cool looking. And then you got this painted dash in white that goes really good with the actual light blue color. I mean, colors back then used to be just like this. You know, you would have the Talbot mirrors, you'd have these light hues with these cars, and you know, it was a happier time back then. You know, when people weren't so, you know, how would you put it, dark. I mean, today's society is so dark, it's crazy. But right here, you got the Citroen 2VC V6 Special. This is so cool. This car is actually in James Bond. And I mean, it's just so Spartan and it's so simple. I mean, look at this car. That's absolutely incredible. And see, it has something in common with the, you know, Fiats. It has the peeled back, you know, top like a 500, which the modern 500s have this top. So maybe it was because they copied off a Citroen. But that's incredible. I mean, it's just like the original Topolino that Giacosa made and put the engine right up front. It was a very small engine, but it's incredible to see how these cars were made. And I mean, this one was in James Bond, so James Bond actually drove one of these. And I mean, just look at this. And I mean, speaking of him saying the Volkswagen thing, it's kind of a rounder, much better version of the Volkswagen thing if you really think about it. But I mean, it's so simplistic, including this window that flips up. I think that's super cool. And the shifting mechanism, they give you the pattern on there because obviously most people wouldn't know how to shift this car if their life depended on it.
Nothing about that thing.
But the way the headlights are mounted, I mean, this is just, what an amazing piece of machinery. And it's very simple and Spartan to boot. So there's not a lot of complication to it. You know, it's as simple as a car can get, from the way the interior is, the way the build quality is. I mean, and at the same time, it looks complex and so, you know, exotic. So I think this is one of the nicer vehicles out here. I mean, again, guys, this has been a treat. This is one of the better fuel feds, considering we've had such a great turnout and everything. And I'm just so happy to be out here. You know, had a tough 2 weeks, and you know, life hasn't been easy on all of us. Everything's kind of gone downhill for a little while, but you know what? Coming out to a car show, meeting nice people, being out here with nice people, you know, is always a good thing. Like right here, these are the two I met who have the Mercedes, and their Mercedes is beautiful. Like I said, I even pointed out the other black one, which is the earlier model of their car, and pointed out the similarities and some of the differences between them both. So, I mean, he's very knowledgeable about the car he has. Not to mention that, also, he's had a Ferrari and a couple of other cool cars that he's torn up the streets with. And, I mean, this is what going to these car shows is all about. You know, meeting up with your friends, making new friends, you know, meeting their lovely wives and everything, who are, you know, just as involved as they are into the car culture. I mean, obviously she wants a G-Wagon, so, you know, I mean, Tanks R Us is definitely something on her menu, but at the end of the day, regardless of what car you drive, it's having fun and spending time with your friends and family that makes this important, because again, society's kind of taken a turn to where everybody's separate. People aren't doing too many things together. And that's why the car community is so important, because it actually involves family and involves friends. So guys, stay happy, stay healthy, stay wealthy. And remember, if you're driving a black Mercedes, somebody thinks you're in the mafia. Take it easy, guys. Mouseball out.